In Phoenix, Arizona, a man has been sentenced to 60 days in prison and has been fined over $12,000 for hosting a Bible study in his home. Since 2005, Michael Salman and his wife have been hosting gatherings of about 15 to 20 people where they share food, fellowship, and discuss the Bible. Unfortunately, that kind of thing is against the law in Phoenix, Arizona, apparently. At one point, nearly a dozen armed police officers raided their home and evidence out of their crimes was gathered. Salman was found guilty of 67 code violations, and now he's going to be ripped away from his family and put in prison for 2 months. In addition, the assistant city prosecutor is asking the court to revoke his probation and convert it to a 2.5-year jail sentence since he continues to hold worship gatherings on his property, despite the court orders. Now, you have to ask yourself, would they have done this if these people were Muslims? Would they have done this if these were illegal aliens having a loud party? Where I live, I see it all the time. The Latins, they're having loud parties and the cops never show up. They can be out there 2, 3, 4 in the morning making all kinds of noise, but nothing ever happens. But these people are having a nice quiet Bible study. What happens? They go after them. They think they're an easy target. You see, the problem with Christianity in this country is that they roll over for authority. That's not what we are meant to do. That's not what Christians are meant to do. Christians are meant to be strong and bold and stand up against the authority of the world. Because if you read the Bible, the same one that I read, the authority of the world right now, the people who are running things now, they're evil. And if you give in to them, if you go along with them, you're allowing evil to control your life and to control the country you're living in. And believe me, I'm quite sure they wouldn't have done it if they were Muslims, because they're afraid Muslims are going to get angry and Muslims are going to fight back. And they probably would, too. You see, it's not politically correct to go after Muslims, but it's always the in-season for going after Christians and patriots and conservatives. It's always okay. It's always considered politically in good taste. The problem with people in this country is that they're soft. They're generally pretty well off. And that tends to sedate and satiate people to the point where they will put up with things that they shouldn't be putting up with. Now, Mr. Salman has been dealt an injustice. Not only did he get the 60 days, but they want to slap a 2.5-year jail sentence on him. These people are pure evil, and they discriminate against people who just want to live on their own property and do what they please with their own property. They pay pretty good money for it, and they pay property taxes. They should be able to live on their property and do what they please, as long as it isn't being destructive. But this isn't good enough. They want to micromanage everything they do in their life. And they especially go after Christians. They especially go after survivalists, conservatives, and people like that because they see them as a threat to their power structure. Just as sure as someone like Obama sees them as a threat to his power. You know, he's trying to push through this UN gun ban treaty. The UN is meeting in New York this month, and their goal is something called the Binding Arms Trade Treaty that will have a real impact on the lives of people around the world. Yeah, it will have a real impact, all right. It will pretty much banish the Second Amendment rights of Americans. What they want to do is register guns, and then from there it's an easy jump to gun confiscation. Once they know who has the guns, then they can easily go after the people who have them. And even the Congress came out against this. They sent a letter to Secretary of State Clinton, and it said that the treaty infringes on the fundamental individual right to keep and bear arms, and says the United States government does not have the right to support a treaty that violates the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Now, people like Obama and people like that prosecutor in Phoenix only exist because people don't fight back. Phoenix, Arizona is overrun with illegal aliens, and they don't lift a finger against them. But they go after someone who's having a Bible study because he's an easy target. They don't think he has any political leverage. They don't think he can fight back. We need to let these people know that we will fight back. Only when they understand that clearly, only when they understand that we're not going to let the Muslims and the illegal aliens get away with murder while we're being treated like crap by our own government. We're not taking it. And once they understand that, really understand that, they can either do two things. They can back down or they can ramp it up. Now, I don't think they have the guts to ramp it up. But if they do, then they're going to find out what real Christians are all about. They're going to find out what it's like to stand up against not only faith-filled people, but what it is to stand up against Almighty God. Because if you're a real Christian, He's with you. They will be defeated. We need to let Obama and his minions that are all over this country, we need to let them know that we're not going to put up with their anti-Christian, anti-gun, anti-Constitution attitudes anymore. America is on the verge of becoming an anti-Christian nation. We need to prevent that from happening.